wakes up inside of what he suspects and then later confirms is a simulation designed to steal his formula for concentrated dark matter. He overloads the CPU of the fake reality in order to escape and tries to take a missile room with him, but it's revealed that he was in a simulation within a simulation designed to steal the combination to his savings. While escaping, he and Morty have to create concentrated dark matter to boost their ship, only to then pull back and reveal that he's inside of a simulation, inside of a simulation, inside of a simulation. With the Nigerians finally stealing the formula for concentrated dark matter during the moment Rick let his guard down, he and Jerry, who was no longer the destiny of his life despite living in a simulation with the 5% capacity, returned to Earth in an escape pod, only for the ship behind them to explode, as the formula for concentrated dark matter Rick gave up was actually a highly reactive combination of cesium and water. After seeing many of the later season episodes, it's interesting to go back and watch Rick's actions during this one. A majority of the episode's segment consists of Rick running away and improvising various means of slowing down his pursuers. He's clever, and his knowledge of how to
All right, now, you need to go.
You can't do that.
Why are you being a real person? Season 5, Rick would have revealed some sort of destroy a simulation chip that he keeps stashed inside of the full file, so he would have simply blasted his way out of the entire thing. He's a survivor in the early seasons, but later on effectively becomes a deity compared to the rest of the universe. And by the end of the episode, it reveals that he was one step ahead of the Nigerians the entire time. The post-credit sequence shows that he's still a little bit unsure even then. I think the best way to describe the creative style of Rick and Morty is that episode plots read like a bunch of guys sitting on a loading dock building up to one another's weird sci-fi concepts. What if you put a simulation inside a simulation? Grows into what if that simulation
Captain
is
Al,
inside of a simulation?
my name is Connor.
And from that,
I'm the android sent by Cyberlight.
Simulation on accident, and it was running at 5%.
It's fine.
With just enough scientific knowledge.
It already shot down 2 of my men.
But not so much that it's something
You could easily get it
interesting.
if you're on the edge of the tower. It's false.
What I mean by that last part is that cesium and water really do react violently when mixed together. But the
Do you know its name?
travel are typically
I haven't got a clue. Does it matter?
I need information to determine the best approach. Do you know if it's been behaving strangely before this?
The characters even lampshade the fact that the episode is going to
Sadie may kid some designers. So either you deal with this fucking android now, or I'll take care of it.
The writers, while also giving a wink to the audience. It's not the first and far from the last time that Rick and Morty will ever make a fourth wall break in this way, but moments like this never stand out too much as a result of the show having such a close relationship to the pop cultural sphere in which it was created and is consumed.
All units hold position. Future Lieutenant Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia. Saturday, live on pay-per-view.
Me seeks and destroy. Tired of always being the sidekick on adventures, Morty decides that he's going to be the one to pick where the duo goes next. They travel to a fantasy land to steal treasure from a giant who looks mysteriously like Dan Harmon, but are caught for breaking and entering, as well as manslaughter, when the giant trips and smashes his head open. But after being freed on a legal technicality, they head to a tavern to unwind, where Morty is sexually assaulted by Mr. Jellybean. He escapes, and the duo head back into town in order to share some of Rick's gambling winnings with the townsfolk, giving their story a happy ending. At least, after Rick returns to finish off the Predator. Back on Earth, the family uses a Me-Seeks box to summon friendly little creatures who will solve simple problems for them. That way Rick doesn't have to micromanage the family while he's gone. But when Jerry tries and fails to get 2 strokes taken off of his golf game, the Me-Seeks start plotting to kill him, as they aren't used to being alive for that long. But he and Beth manage to overcome the threats, rekindling their marriage for now. This is the first episode of Rick and Morty that shows off the potential for darkness that the showrunners can explore. So far, we've seen hundreds of deaths, assault, nudity, and many other taboos, but this is the first time that the subject matter manages to have a disturbing undertone to it, merely because the consequences of his actions are shown in realistic fashion. Morty is visibly disturbed by his near rape experience, and the whole subject is taken seriously, unlike just minutes earlier when Rick made a prison rape joke. We see this happen with science fiction and play like that will be presented differently, and something else to be taken seriously. Normally a show that attempts this sort of flip-flopping would come across as tone-deaf or insensitive, but that's only if the show fails to properly establish its tone and comes across as poorly written as a result. I'll posit that Rick and Morty's initial success largely has to do with the competency with which it handles its tone. If the whole show were just wacky science fiction tropes being made fun of, or if it was the weird looking alien world of improvisational humor, or a pure character study, then it never would have caught the way it did. It's the fact that the showrunners know to hold back on the punchline and when to commit fully to a bit that makes the show as enjoyable to watch as it is. Dale the Giant's wife calling the police and taking Rick and Morty to a realistic interrogation chamber, followed by a courtroom scene, is funnier after Dale himself comes into the kitchen muttering like a fantasy simpleton. The joke is taken out as far as it can be taken before it stops being funny, and the name will run. But speaking of things that were no longer in the show, Morty's adventure continues past the point of the duality between the prison sentence and becomes washed out, something referenced by Rick directly. This combined with the end of the episode where he announces that he has a new catchphrase in Wabba-la-dum-dum shows a knowledge of the protocol, specifically when it's okay to lean against it, to launching a plot thread, or to look directly at the camera to announce that the episode is ending. Rick Ocean number 9. Morty asks Rick to create a love potion so he can drug Jessica, a girl from the school he has a crush on. The potion works, but it mutates with the flu virus and spreads to the entire world, making everybody become obsessed with the boy. Rick tries to counteract the potion with a different serum, but this merely causes the people to mutate into praying mantis monsters, one to mate with, and then kill Morty. When Rick's third attempt at creating a potion also fails and turns the whole world into David Cronenberg monsters, he decides to simply find a universe where he succeeded in fixing the problem and happened to die shortly afterwards, so the duo can take the place of the deceased pair. Meanwhile, the rest of the Smith family has to deal with surviving the apocalypse that Rick made, ultimately thriving in the ruins of their world and finding happiness with each other. The ending to this episode drives home an important point. How much better off would the Smith family be without Rick in their lives? They're shown to be as average a family as you can get, at least within the first few episodes, and many of the strife they have to overcome are usually a direct result of Rick's influence. Even going as far back as things like the strained relationship, we later see that it was Beth's childhood separate from her strange and estranged.
Don't come any closer or I'll jump!
While the family is shown to be strong and connected at the end of the series, we can also see that this is years than they were at the start. The changes each character is in, just about the
My name is Connor! What about you? What is your name? Daniel! That's the name they gave me! Stay back!
At first, Beth was happy to have her brother back in her life, having spent so long without him.
I know you're angry, Daniel,
She's begun to turn on
but you need to trust me
just after Jerry,
and let me help you. I don't want your help!
seeing that it's unfair
Nobody
to
can help me.
responsible.
All I want is
Beth and Jerry flip on their
stop
pennies
it!
and have this breaking point.
Just want all this to
Jerry,
stop!
because she's no longer living in the shadow of Rick and their
Are you armed?
and Beth, because she's fully able
No.
to feel feelings towards
I
this
don't have a gun! You're lying! I know you have a gun! I'm telling you the truth, Daniel. I came here unarmed. They were going to replace you, and you became upset. That's what happened, right? I thought I was part of the family. I thought I mattered. But I was just their tool. Something to throw away when you're done with it. Listen. I know it's not your fault. These emotions you're feeling are just errors in your software.
While shopping at a space pawn shop,
It's not
Morty
my
spots
fault.
an interesting sex bot and
I never
convinces
wanted
Rick to
this.
buy it for him. Only for the
I
sex
love
bot
them.
turned out to be an actual
You know?
machine that births an alien baby.
But I was nothing to them. Just a slave to be ordered around.
Citing the fact that Morty is too busy being a new parent. They support that the planet is a matriarchy, where the woman deploys sex bots on the planet.
Are you okay, Emma?
Please help me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Nobody's going to die. Stay calm. Everything's going to be fine.
He is struggling to raise his new son, Morty Jr. Let's look forward into this movie.
I can't stand that noise anymore. Tell that helicopter to get out of here. There. I did what you wanted. You have to trust me, Daniel. Let the hostage go, and I promise you, everything will be fine.
In all human society is characterized not by
I want everyone to leave!
perceptions of feminine traits. Potentially
And I want a car. When I'm outside the city, I'll let her go.
love interest, or at best, devices for Rick to say, "I told you so," too, in the episode's finale.
That's impossible, Daniel. Let the girl go, and I promise you won't be hurt.
Even then, more so foils for Jerry or even characters.
I don't want to die.
But that's to be expected of an all-new writing style. It isn't until season 3 that the show got its first
You're not going to die. You're just going to talk. Nothing will happen to you. You have my word. Okay. I trust you.
Exist outside the shadows of male counterparts. And this has a bit of it across the board. We get to see Jerry grow and develop during these seasons. It also takes on a unique turn, giving more variety to what kind of story it's told. Morty doesn't want to screw up Luigi the same way that his parents screwed him up, and as a result, creates a brand new kind of screw up for his son to become. Jerry gets an "I told you so" and before rushing down
You lied to me, Connor.
Although he doesn't
You lied.
at least he's more of an open pet, and missed out on the fine line of this episode entirely. Accelerating the character process also allows the audience to see a more direct cause and effect from Morty's actions to Marie Jr.'s character traits, and as a result, this episode is a microcosm of the effect Beth and Jerry's negligence have left on their children. This technique gets explored in much greater detail in these episodes to continue this subject matter. Until then, Racing is always an episode that serves as a sort of character play. In the sense that the show has served as more of a deconstruction of sci-fi tropes so far, rather than a study of the characters in those plots. We see a hint of just how well the show can pull off darker plot beats at the end of Rick Potion number 9, so it's a hefty promise that the showrunners are making, though not one that appears to be outside the realm of what they can do. Rick's Minutes. Bored with regular cable television, Rick sets up the family with interdimensional cable, allowing them to see TV shows from every conceivable universe. When they stumble upon a universe where Jerry is a famous actor, Summer, Jerry, and Beth are lured away with the alternative reality goggles and let them explore life from their other selves' eyes. In that universe, Beth and Jerry were never married and are living seemingly better lives as a result. But despite the other universes Jerry starring in all the movies Tom Hanks starred in our world, he's still miserable and goes on a bender where he runs to the home of the successful but lonely Beth, and the two confess that not staying together was the biggest mistake of their lives.
This is top of the range
During all of this, Rick and Morty sit through a series of improvisational
Come
skits.
on, Joey, let's go.
The interdimensional cable skits of this episode far overshadowed the rest of the episode's story beats, to the point where we received an interdimensional cable 2, but not a revisiting of Dimension C500A, where the Beth and Jerry storylines take place. In fact, there's about one mostly improv episode per season, in no small part because of the success of this one. But that's not the only reason, as a large amount of Justin Roiland's other work is improvisational in nature. Not only that, but one of Dan Harmon's other shows, Community, also has a similar episode, a clip show featuring several scenes that the audience has never seen. But personal preference of the showrunners aside, I think that this sort of thing only gets retreaded again and again in the future, because that's what audiences want. Rick and Morty stood apart from its contemporaries by having a much looser feel than many other shows. Characters stuttered and belched when they spoke, they were rarely eloquent, and dialogue closely matched the candor that an actual human would use in that situation. This improvisational style is what drew audiences in the first place, so why not revisit the embodiment of that style as often as you can? Beth and Jerry both obsessed with the universe they've discovered, the one where they get to live their fullest lives rather than being shackled down by kids. They've been wondering if things would be better single through their whole marriage, and naturally the couple obsesses over the reality where they stayed independent, much in the same way they've been doing for the last 17 years. At the end of this scenario, however, the two realize that even their, quote, perfect selves are miserable and long for each other. It's played as a romantic moment, that the two belong together no matter what universe they're in, but another reading of this moment is one in which Beth and Jerry are deeply unhappy, even miserable people, no matter what. All the anger and frustration and misery in their lives is something inherent and not something they can simply blame on each other. This is actually built upon in a later episode. Rick Morai Jack reveals that the Mortys are made en masse by the Citadel of Ricks by conspiring to get the Beths and Jerrys of the universe together. This, then, means that in the universe we get glimpses of, Rick never intervened and the two wound up together anyway. It's a much more heartwarming reading than the other one I posited, and one has to wonder just how intentional all of that was. Something wicked this way comes. Morty asks Rick for help with the science fair project, but ultimately accepts the help from Jerry instead in order to assuage his father's inferiority complex. But while they're working on a model solar system, Jerry is adamant about Pluto being a planet, to the point that he's abducted by Plutonians who laud him as a great hero for declaring that statement. But Morty uncovers that the entire tour is just an excuse for corporate interest to cover up the fact that Pluto is shrinking due to overmining. Jerry eventually realizes that this moment in the spotlight is merely helping to cover up a conspiracy, but more importantly, it's driving a wedge between him and his son. So he admits the truth and is exiled from the planet for doing the right thing. Meanwhile, Summer is working part-time at a cursed item shop run by the actual devil. Rick gets his ego hurt by the man and decides to open up a store across the street that de-curses the items so people don't have to put up with the ironic downsides. Summer convinces Lucifer not to give up on his ambitions, though, and he rebrands the store into a bunch of tech jargon that gets them bought out by Google. And by them, I mean just the devil, as he tricked Summer out of her shares. So Rick and Summer decide to roid up and beat him up. The two plots of this episode are both focused on the egos of two foil characters. Rick feels like he's being looked down upon by Summer's boss, and as a result dedicates the next few days to hating him, ruining the other man's business so he doesn't feel bad about Summer wanting to spend more time with him. Jerry is an opposite to Rick in the sense that he's more down-to-earth and much less intelligent, but his ego is the same, and he takes offense to Morty going over his head on the Pluto issue. In later seasons, Jerry and Rick are actually shown to have reasonably good chemistry with one another, to the point of getting along, so long as there's nothing to cause them to be at each other's throats. So while Jerry and Rick are total opposites, they still exist on the same spectrum as one another, with more similarities than either one would ever admit. The Plutonian elite and the devil are both in on similar rackets, profiteering off of telling people what they want to hear, and we get to see those plans from differing perspectives. The devil is lying to people, saying that their flaws are simple to work around and that he has an easy way out for their woes. Meanwhile, the Plutonians lie to their citizens, assuring them that nothing is wrong and that the current system the planet runs on is completely sustainable. In this, we can see how these sorts of lies can suck people in, feeding into a group's confirmation bias so that people with fragile egos can receive positive attention is far too common a practice in the real world. And we get to see that firsthand in this episode. It's a bit ironic then that this episode ends with Rick and Summer getting buff so they can physically beat the devil into submission. It's such an unnecessary revenge fantasy. Also, Rick can end the episode without feeling like he was ever one-upped by the devil, when the lesson that we got from Jerry's story is that spurning confirmation bias and admitting you're in the wrong is the high road. Rick has no interest in helping strangers, unless doing so will one-up somebody else. For him to have wasted so much time only for the guy he was trying to screw over to come out successful in the end is a loss that you'd expect Rick to simply accept and move beyond. Though in reality, this is actually the first hint of a character flaw that will be explored much further in later seasons. Close Rick counters of the Rick kind. Rick is taken to the Citadel of Ricks, a sort of space station filled with various Ricks from different dimensions, in order to account for the deaths of various Ricks through the multiverse. He escapes with Morty, and the two of them track down the real killer, only for Morty to learn that the real reason he gets taken along with Rick on adventures is because Morty's stupidity acts as a cloaking device for Rick's intelligence. They argue, which eventually results in Rick getting captured by evil Rick and Morty taken to a room full of other Mortys. But rather than being a passive observer, Morty decides to lead the other Mortys on a rampage to destroy evil Rick, freeing his Rick and clearing his name in the process. Meanwhile, Jerry befriends one, Doofus Rick, though it's short-lived as everybody returns to their original universes afterwards. The Citadel of Ricks is a refuge that various Ricks from across the multiverse use in order to guard themselves from the interventions of various planetary governments. Due to his long history of morally dubious actions, it's become a necessity to rely on the assistance of others to hide himself, largely so he gets the chance to let his guard down once in a while. But Rick being Rick, he refuses to actually accept the help that he needs, so he turns to the same source of comfort that any egoist man with the dimension-hopping portal gun would turn to, himself. But it's not as though the Council was his first choice in any dimension. During the following episode, and much later throughout the show, We see a past where Rick Sanchez served as a freedom fighter, alongside Bird Person and Squanchy, fighting against the Galactic Federation. But his days as an intergalactic terrorist ended, and he, at some point, decided to avoid involving others in schemes that could cause them harm the way it's cost him so much. So the Citadel not only serves as a monument to one man's ego, but a symbol of his own isolation. All of that said, the primary purpose of the Council of Ricks is really just another means of fueling the creative style of the showrunners. Look at all these weird, different-looking Rick and Mortys. I bet there's some weird stories behind them. It's the same sort of pointing and staring one might expect to do towards the bizarre alien world that the show takes us through. This sort of blending of the mundane and the fantastic are what keeps Rick and Morty so interesting. We can have a space station full of a bunch of different versions of the same two guys, but then develop the characters accordingly to bring the whole project down to earth in its execution. It doesn't matter how weird and high concept the setting gets, as long as the characters behave and react realistically, the audience never gets pulled out of the experience. But it's not as though Rick and Morty is revolutionary in the way it handles this, and it's far from the only show to maintain this sort of dynamic. A well-known Easter egg of this episode is the fact that a coffee cup, notebook, and a pen fly out of one of the portals Rick opens during the chase sequence. A direct reference to another show with a similar dynamic, Gravity Falls, run by Alex Hirsch, who is a close friend of Justin Roiland's. In fact, so many other shows have used this kind of formula in the past that Rick is even able to break the fourth wall about character arcs in the episode's conclusion, as he and Morty are leaving the Citadel. So then the only real thing separating the tropes of Rick and Morty from the relevant for use is the execution of these tropes, which, for this part of the show's run, is strong enough to make the show stand above its peers. Ricksky business. Beth and Jerry attend a Titanic reenactment together, leaving Rick, Morty, and Summer home together with the task of not ruining the house, at risk of Morty losing adventure privileges. Naturally, they throw a crazy party instead, with all of Summer and Rick's friends coming over to get, quote, riggedy wrecked. This party results in the house being transported to another planet, but since the atmosphere is oxygen-rich with reasonable living conditions, Rick declares that the party is still on. He and Summer send all of the party poopers out of the way to snipe hunt, retrieving crystals with the assumption that they'll never return the house to Earth. In the end, Morty is forced to decide whether to clean up the house and continue adventuring with Rick, or if he wants to leave it messy and take his parents' side after Rick blew him off all night. In the end, the kids pick the status quo, all learning a bit about each other in the process. I've mentioned before that Rick and Morty is a show with nihilist themes, and this episode really helps to establish what that concept means to Rick as a character. He has sci-fi gadgets that can get the family out of almost any situation, and if those fail, he can simply find a replacement made at the Citadel, or find a new universe, or cheat his way out of the consequences in some other way. The fact of the matter is, in the world of Rick and Morty, nothing matters at all, and any suspense is purely fabricated in the interest of maintaining the status quo. Most adventures have some mundane utility in the long run. Morty risks his life for crystals that only bring a temporary high, not the first time he's put his grandson in danger for something petty, and certainly not the last. And so, of course, the only way for anything that happens to have genuine stakes is to have characters develop in response to those events. If the Earth is rendered uninhabitable, that's not that big of a deal, but if Rick loses the respect of a family member, it genuinely haunts him, no matter how much he pretends that it doesn't. His nihilism rubs off a bit on Summer in this episode, giving her the first real bit of character development away from the status quo that she's received. Summer stops caring so much about what others think about her following her failure to develop her social status at this party, and decides to take more after her grandfather. And yet, in the same episode that we see her develop in this way, we also get a bit of a warning about this sort of mentality. Rick's catchphrase, wubba lubba dub dub, is explained by Bird Person as a sort of cry for help, something that he pretends to say ironically, when in actuality the phrase very much applies to him. Humans are supposed to be social creatures, and recessing away from the people you're supposed to be close to means that you're depriving yourself of something important, something which Rick tries to fill the void with alcohol and adventure. But we do get some saving grace in the fact that Morty nearly makes a rejection of Rick and the associated lifestyle of Rick. After the previous episode made him doubt his position as a number 2, a sidekick, and having his wants and desires ignored by Rick's indifference, Morty takes a more active rejection of his grandfather and accepts no longer going on adventures with him. But it only takes one grand gesture for this to be forgotten, and the show to wrap up with an extremely tongue-in-cheek dance number. Season 1 wrap-up. The success of Season 1 led to a quick renewal and a Season 2, with the interest in Rick and Morty picking up very quickly to the point that the season finale had nearly twice as many viewers as the premiere. With the second season came new challenges, as well as new opportunities from old ones being cleared. In Season 1, there was an issue of the show trying to find its footing, figuring out how to work with sci-fi concepts in a way that didn't trivialize many of the plots. Rick's science borders on a constant Deus Ex Machina source, preventing any real stakes to many of the plots. And there's also an inherent desire for the show to maintain a status quo, which can prevent characters from making meaningful developments. Despite these pitfalls, Season 1 does a much better job at navigating them than many of its contemporaries, with the first season establishing a proper tone and theme for the show to continue pulling from in the future. But in this way, first seasons of TV shows have it easy. It's difficult to claim that a show is going stale when still establishing setting and characters.
You do the housework, the washing, you cook the meals, and you take care of it. God damn it, where the fuck's the rat gone now? Alice! Alice! Oh, that's Alice. You look after her. Homework, bath, all that crap. Got it?
Yes, Tess.
Get started down here, then you go upstairs. TV on. Depends on what you need. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah. I'll bring it tomorrow. Yeah, it's any place.
But once those things are set in place, the writers have to deal with the challenge of building on that in not only a meaningful way, but a way that's a net gain to the show as a whole. So it's up to Season 2 to top what we got in Season 1, which, based on what we've seen so far, is going to be a monumental task.
I am offering you a chance to atone for what you have done.
What exactly?
A wrinkle in time. Following the time freeze at the end of Season 1, Rick, Summer, and Morty have finished repairing the house, but need a few hours to resolve their, quote, time, so that they're on the same wavelength as the rest of the universe again. Unfortunately, their uncertainty means that both Morty and Summer become trapped in multiple timelines, manifesting as the screen splitting to show the two extremely similar universes tenuously coexisting. Rick tries to undo the process by making sure that there are no potentials for their timelines to split further, but when this fails, he ends up just trying to kill his alternate self. Eventually, their antics attract the attention of the Time Police, who fix the issue, but then threaten to arrest Rick for stealing time crystals that make the plot possible in the first place. But Rick uses the power of uncertainty to outnumber the cop before eventually stealing his tech and fixing everything. In the B-plot, Jerry runs over a deer in the woods, and Beth tries to save its life in order to prove her worth as an animal surgeon. Right out the gates in Season 2, we start to see much higher concepts in the level of sci-fi that the show starts to rely on. While Season 1 largely focuses on deconstructing tropes from popular science fiction of the past, the second season takes a more thorough look at the current spectrum of scientific speculation in order to draw ideas. Season 1 will have the mutation of the week referred to by the effects creator they're referencing, but Season 2 has to have a layman's explanation of quantum mechanics before they can really start to explore the plot. This has some unfortunate ramifications later on, as rather than relying on the audience's cultural knowledge, it relies on their scientific knowledge for plots to work. It's much easier to say, we're doing the thing from inception, than it is to explain the concept of a memory parasite. And doing the latter means that the show starts to give the impression that they're trying to be a sci-fi entertainment show rather than a character exploration. And so, this in turn gives rise to the idea that, quote, without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the jokes will go over a typical viewer's head. Beth spends the better part of the B-plot trying to save a deer that Jerry hit with his car, not so much because she has a deep intrinsic love of fauna, but because she feels as though she's looked down upon for being a horse surgeon instead of a human surgeon. On top of this, she's constantly denigrated by the veterinarian at the clinic she takes the animal to and the hunter who originally shot it, as if she doesn't have the right, much less the ability, to save the deer. Her whole drive for this episode is powered by ego, or trying to prove wrong anybody who might think she can't do something. In the end, it's Jerry who's able to strip away all of the distracting elements of the surgery, so that she can save the deer's life and release it back into the woods. Jerry and Beth have their relationship repaired after the falling out in the previous episode, because Jerry genuinely believed in Beth's abilities, and Beth recognized that she was being recognized by someone who saw the best in her. Ultimately, it's the little details that make this episode great. Small things like the slight echo to the voices of the characters trapped in the time paradox, put in contrast to the non-delayed voices of Key and Peele, who voice the characters, that gives the extra layer of legitimacy to the setting. Morty Night Run. Rick sells a gun to Krumbopolis Michael, an alien assassin, in order to get enough money to spend an afternoon at Blips and Chits, an alien arcade. But Morty feels remorseful that Rick is complicit in a murder, and decides to commandeer the ship in order to stop Krumbopolis Michael from killing again. He saves the life form, who assumes the name Fart, and then the duo go on the run from the Galactic Federation, as gaseous beings can't travel by portal. As they flee, there's a large amount of collateral damage, causing Morty to wonder whether it's worthwhile to save one life at the cost of so many others. In the end, Fart reveals that he is going to purge all carbon-based life forms from the universe once he returns from his own, and Morty decides to kill his new friend. Meanwhile, Jerry is dropped off at a cross-dimensional daycare for Jerrys, who get brought on Rick adventures by mistake. There, he worries about how patronized he is by Rick, but ultimately dismisses the thought with the emotional support of himself, Sis. In the previous episode, we saw that Season 2 is more prepared to ramp up the complexity of its sci-fi concepts, and in just the second episode, we begin to see how Morty happens to develop its characters, or rather, how it doesn't. You see, Morty decides that he's had enough of Rick's casual attitude, and decides to go behind his back and against his wishes, only to end up killing thousands and nearly wiping out humanity. In the end, Morty decides that it was wrong to go against Rick's wishes, and keeps his mouth shut for the next adventure. A similar thing happens twice more this season in The Ricks Must Be Crazy and Look Who's Purging Now. So Morty's character development seems to take a backseat to allowing the sci-fi concepts to flourish without some boring moral quandary getting in the way. Jerry tries running away from daycare in this episode, only for the world outside the building to be strange and scary. He slunks back to the daycare feeling defeated, but copes with his failure by having the other Jerrys agree that nobody needs that headache. You get the impression that the story is played out many times, as there are Jerrys in the daycare, and yet there's something strangely wholesome about the entire setup. Rick knows Jerry so well that he was able to create a paradise for the man, complete with everything he could ever want out of his simple life. Rick could have very easily frozen Jerry and left him in the trunk, but sending him to a perfect world to distract him from where his son has been taken shows that there's at least some compassion inside of him. I said before that Jerry and Rick actually have a decent amount of chemistry, and were it not for Rick's self-imposed detachment from other people, there's a chance the two of them could have been closer. If Krampopoulos Michael wants somebody dead, he'll get them dead. It doesn't matter whether it's Rick selling him the weapon or somebody else. Rick knows this and decides that if there's going to be an assassination anyway, he may as well profit off of it. Morty is portrayed as being in the wrong for caring. If he had only stayed detached, he could be enjoying life as Roy instead of being chased by the Galactic Federation. Yet at the end of the episode, Rick praises Morty for sticking to his morals and doing the right thing, despite all the issues that occurred. Sure, Rick doesn't know that Morty ended up pulling the trigger anyway, but this interaction shows that, in some small way, Rick envies Morty's ability to care about the universe, whether that's a sort of naivety or emotional strength. Autoerotic assimilation. While responding to a distress beacon, Rick, Morty, and Summer stumble upon Unity, an ex of Rick's who takes the forms of a body-infecting hive mind. He and the hive mind spend some time together while Unity also puts on some shows to entertain the children. But the whole situation doesn't sit well with Summer, and she begins trying to free the enslaved inhabitants of the planet. Summer soon gets her wish. Rick encourages her to take some drug analogs, which cause her to lose her grip on the inhabitants. Once freed, they go back to what they were doing before, a race war. In the end, Unity leaves Rick because she takes what Summer said to heart, that Rick is a bad influence on her, and his presence is dragging her down. In the B-plot, Beth and Jerry argue over the presence of an alien chained up in Rick.
That would really hurt me.
Do you know what's lurking in your loofah? It's a soggy sack of bacteria, mold, and mildew just feeding on your dead skin. Exfoliate.
That's really awesome. You know, I almost cried because of what was what? Maybe why would you cry? He's just honoring her death. This is such a basic human being thing. We should all understand this.
Oh, y'all. Seriously, go watch the video yourself. Tell me your feelings. But when I watched it for the first time, it brought me to tears, and not in a good way. Something's going on here. Okay, the question was, if you could say anything to Amanda right now, what would it be?
I feel like every time I hang out with your father, I get to see you, love your dad, and being totally honest, I feel like you brought Larry into my life. I feel like Larry's the best friend I've had forever. So you did that for me, Amanda, and I need it, and he needed it.
I love your dad, and to be totally honest, I feel like you brought him into my life. That's your eulogy?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Who cares?
I can't get away from him. That's something. You always want Larry in the water. He never would go in the water. He finally got in the water. He got me in the water. Ooh, he finally got me in the water.
I guess the dad didn't like the water, and now he went in because his daughters passed away.
I'm like gonna cry. It's so fucked up. These people are living in the upside down, and I refuse to live there with them.
If you really cried there, you should probably get off the internet and go get help. But I know that you're being a performative period person, because this is a nice moment where like the woman wanted her father probably to go into water with her when she was young. It's like a cute, sweet, like silly moment. Their biggest crime is putting it on the internet for dumb fucks like this to speculate on it. You're a dead person. Oh my god.
I love you. I know your dad loves you more than anything.
And you turned out to be a molester.
The shit is fucked.
Sure.
In that video I mentioned earlier where, Lima says there was only Tylenol in Amanda's system, she mentions that they still, are waiting for more information or something like that. Months go by, and now it's December 2021. This is just last year. I mean, not even a year ago. Lima comes back on Mark Lates' channel.
All right, Lima. Welcome back again.
Thank you.
In a video entitled Amanda's Autopsy Results Lima.
Okay, so then, oh my god, this woman doesn't understand how the world works. So here's what I'm going to assume. That Amanda passed away. They don't normally do autopsies unless it's like an extenuating circumstance. So what happened is they engaged in the autopsy at some point after she passed away, probably pretty quickly since she ended up like getting cremated, and like whatever results came back, and they finally felt it, like talking about them however many months later. Maybe they initially misspoke. Maybe initially the investigation found that it was just Tylenol, but then they did a little bit further and more came out. Maybe they were questioning if they wanted to bring it up again for whatever reason. I don't know. We'll find out. But again, let's see what we got.
It's 7 months after Amanda has passed away.
They did the autopsy. They looked at her medical records.
Autopsy results.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got.
Okay.
Now, as you all know,
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
Okay. Okay.
I have those autopsy results.
Yeah, I don't believe anything you say because you're an idiot. So, like, what? Like, I guess she had a seizure disorder. Okay.
And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got. The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder. Amanda never had seizures prior to being homeless, and they believe that it was post-traumatic seizure disorder, post-traumatic epilepsy. But they're going to mark it as post-traumatic epilepsy because of a lack of evidence.
So what we see today on this video is...
Don't you think I tried to make things work?
She got an additional issue, most likely.
Whatever I do, if someone comes along, they just fuck it all up!
The kind of trauma that she was undergoing. And that's it. Nothing particularly interesting about what's happening right now. And they found out more information than
do a little bit of old school comparison and contrast to what is being said.
And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got.
I just don't believe anything that you're saying is true. It doesn't matter what you say, I just don't believe you. You're tired of watching an hour of you go on about things you have no idea what you're talking about. I doubt that you have any.
You know I love you, don't you?
And what was written down? Myself and the investigation team have requested Amanda's autopsy report. Then we will decide together what we think might have really happened.
Might have really happened, guys. Okay.
So in that video, the first thing I need anyone to know, Mark Latham from behind the camera says, "So Lima, you're back."
Okay. So,
All right, Lima.
All right.
Welcome back again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah?
Yes, she said. Then he says,
Do you have the
Reed says, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Now, and very importantly, Lima is sitting on that same chair everybody always sits in, holding about 2 pieces of paper in her hand.
All right, Lima. Welcome back again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
So, we finally, after how many months now? It's been like 9 months or so?
April, May.
So we have the autopsy results for Amanda.
Yes, we do.
She just came from the day ago. Tell me what you know.
And so I'm just...
So this odd, so she was pushing this idea that like there was something weird going on. They said, oh, after however long you have the autopsy, it seems like it just came in based on what they're saying. Makes sense to me. Okay, probably is true. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so it just came in. What do we got here?
I'm just gonna read it word for word of what we got. The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
Remember, Amanda's autopsy result type in Lima. First thing out of Mark Latham's mouth. Lima, you're back. We got the autopsy results. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Then he says they just came a couple days ago, which I have a really difficult time reconciling with reality.
Just came from the day ago.
What? Yeah, they just got it a couple days ago. What do you mean? Because it, I'm not understanding. You're being hyper like because it didn't literally just come in this second? It came in a couple of days ago. You're going to give it a problem? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh wow, you're a very disconnected individual. That's incredible. Well, actually, it came in 2 days ago. Oh well, that's not just now. Relax.
Because this autopsy report that I have right here, that I've triple-checked, is the only one. It says it was ready in September. That video's in December, so I think she probably had gotten it way more than a couple days ago, but I really don't know. She's holding about 2 pieces of paper in her hand, and then she proceeds to say the reason it took so long was because it was some type of lack of evidence.
Yeah, so the reason that it took so long is because there was a lot of lack of documentation because Amanda was homeless. And so basically what they used was they did the autopsy, they looked at her medical
Good morning.
Me and Larry, that's Amanda's dad,
10 a.m. The weather is partly cloudy, 64 degrees, 80% humidity with a strong possibility of afternoon showers.
It sounds like a good day to spend in bed.
Me and Amanda's dad actually even sent
I
in
did go to
evidence.
pick up the paint that
They
you
sent in evidence.
Oh,
Have you ever
yes.
heard of that?
And then Larry...
That is the difference between
So
you
the
and me,
evidence
right,
that they could have
Marcus?
sent in is probably her
You
medical
never
history,
forget
her
anything.
capacity, or her family medical history. Well, again, like I just don't think that you understand words. So like that's what they're talking about. Have you ever gone? Let's just I'll dumb it down. Have you ever gone to the doctor before? And they say, does your mother have diabetes? Does your father have diabetes? What's your mother and father's medical history? That's what they're talking about. So he might have balanced medical history from him, his family, or maybe the mother's family, and he went and submitted it. And then maybe she submitted some of the things that she found when they were she was in their facility.
Thank you.
That's all it is.
I just
And
don't
so they were
know.
able to take a look at that information, cross-reference it with what happened, and they go, oh, she may have had like a new disorder or a new issue. They also might have gone through and found like hospital records or going in there. Which might have taken a little extra time because she may not have been giving her her actual name, so she wouldn't have to pay. It's pretty normal things. Like I'm not using a whole lot of brain power here to come up with these like very logical, commonsensical things that may be happening. Okay.
Your videos to kind of show her condition from drug use and the beatings that she took, and we also have some photographs.
Now, if y'all don't know this already, if you follow my other channels, you do. Trigger alert warning. I lost my father from a drug addiction.
Then you really should be more understanding of what's happening because you clearly don't know what the fuck you're on about. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but you are hyper speculating on this issue and you have no idea anything about drug addiction. You're an idiot. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, holy fuck, this is like you're creating a conspiracy based on the situation. So.
Dad died in 2017 overdosing on drugs.
Okay.
We didn't find that out immediately. The first thing they told us was he had a heart attack. About 3 months went by, they got a toxicology report, and then they told us heart attack was caused by drugs.
So you are giving them, but basically what happened is your father tragically passed away, and then it's a toxicology report back.
Yes, there's the opening of your retrospective at the Museum of Modern Art.
Your own
The gallery
anecdotal
director left 4
experience.
messages asking
It
to
took your
confirm
father.
your attendance.
It took you 3 months to get your father's full information on his autopsy, and yet you're saying that somehow the length of time on this autopsy with Amanda Robb is somehow
Just your usual thing.
cause for
I've already
speculation,
answered.
even though in your own anecdotal experience you've gone through the exact same fucking thing of it taking a long time to get this information to you.
No. I can call it.
Literally, your life experience.
No, don't bother.
In both scenarios, somebody tragically passed away, and it took them a long period of time to be able to fully confirm why it happened. Your dad had a very similar experience, and somehow you couldn't go, how could this relate to me? How? Are you dishonest? Are you dumb? Like I don't get it. It's the same scenario. So it takes a long time to get the full autopsy.
I would like to have my breakfast before
and you
you
question
leave.
it as if it's a conspiracy narrative when it comes to Amanda Robb, but when it comes to Amanda Rabb, sorry. But when it comes to your own father, it's different. Like why is it different? I don't understand. Incredible stuff though.
It's sent into a cardiac arrest or something. So there was not 3 toxicology reports for that to be done. There was 1. And I promise y'all, did not one person send in evidence to the coroner to get a result.
Probably because he didn't have the same trouble with addiction as I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Amanda or your father probably wasn't a prostitute living on the streets instead he was like 20 years old. There are different types of drug addicts that struggle differently. It seems like he was a drug addict, God bless his soul, that didn't live on the streets doing drugs. In fact, it may have been that they hid it from the family.
Well, your breakfast is ready. Bacon and eggs, just the way you like them.
Thank you.
But it's a different situation here. Like you realize this, right? Like he has incomplete medical history because she's on the streets of drugs. Of course.
Okay. Nobody sent nothing in. We were crying, grieving, trying to go about our lives, trying to recover. We got that news. Of course, that was really difficult for us to deal with. But at no time were we in a communication with the coroner, with the autopsy people. At no time. And we did not get 3 toxicology reports done like we're done here. So I don't really know what was going on during that time.
Idiot.
But I believe that the public has a right to know what was going on. I think we should know who was sending emails back and forth. What was really going on that resulted in this taking so long? Because Lima told us on Soft White Underbelly it was a lack of evidence.
But they couldn't mark it as post-traumatic epilepsy because of a lack of evidence. So
she and Larry sent in videos from Mark Later's channel.
Larry and I also sent.
Someone just doesn't understand what she's saying. She lives in the streets just being
in your videos to kind of show her condition from drug use.
Why would someone do that?
If the traumatic brain injury is also well documented, they would have most likely marked it as a homicide. So that was a major wake-up call for all of us.
So, y'all remember that whole thing about the only has Tylenol in her system? Not only Lima said it.
All she had in her system was Tylenol.
Based on the time of this video, we're talking about 7 months before the autopsy results video. Lima said only Tylenol in Amanda's system.
And so I think, I know that they did a toxicology report.
What would you find
Marshall said the same thing to his father. Correct.
Okay,
he read?
Plato's Republic. It's one of the books you recommended.
So, what do you think?
I quite like philosophy, I think.
It asks the question
that I can't answer. What is right or what is wrong, for example. It's not something that is so easy to decide.
Asking questions that have no answers is part of being human, Mark.
Why would that doesn't make sense?
One day I won't be here to take care of you anymore.
You can get an autopsy report for someone if you are a legal family member or an officer of the court. So she's wrong. What? You can't. What? You can request an autopsy if you are the person's next of kin. There's no way she has the wait. That she doesn't.
Don't let anyone tell you who you
Anyone can get that. I'm not special.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. She's literally wrong about this. Are you kidding me right now? What? What are you talking about? She's done what she needs to do here.
We're gonna use Amanda as a case study.
What the fuck? Are people using this out in the field yet?
We are doing case studies only right now.
Now, this is public information.
It's not.
You can call and request this yourself.
You can't request it unless you're next of kin. Anyone can get it. You can only get an autopsy for somebody if you are a legal family member or an officer of the court, which means that either this is fake or you pretended to be one of those things, and what would that mean? You're just wrong.
Let's see where we left off.
Objectively, you're just wrong. You're dumb. You're lying. You're a liar. You're a bad person. I'm gonna go pee real quick. This one's a fucking moron. Holy shit. Holy fuck, dude. This shit's crazy.
So, what's your verdict, Marcus?
Yes, there is something about it. Something I can't quite define. I guess I like it.
The truth is, I have nothing left to say anymore. Each day that goes by brings me closer to the end. I'm just an old man clinging to his brushes. But enough about me. Let's see if you have any talent. Give it a try. Try painting something.
Paint? What would I... Painting what?
Anything you want. Give it a try.
So much piss in my fucking bladder. Where did this woman die? Do we know? Because the autopsy recommend or requests vary by state. But Skid Row's in Los Angeles, California, so.
That is a perfect copy of reality. The painting is not about replicating the world. It's about improving on it, showing something you see.
Carl, I don't think I can do that. It's not in my program.
Go on, go. Try it. Grab that.
Apparently you can just fucking get anyone's autopsy in fucking California. Is it Las Vegas?
Do something to get closure.
I don't know. Rehab is in Vegas.
Try to imagine something that doesn't exist, something you've never seen. Now concentrate on how it makes you feel, and let your hand drift across the canvas.
Yeah, okay, apparently you can just request whatever you want, sure. Alright, let's keep going. This sounds fucking dumb.
Yeah, no, I'm not special. Anyone can get this because the public is supposed to have access to this information.
Why?
Amanda was last seen at the treatment center on May 8, 2021 at about 11:55 p.m. and administered her nightly medications, which were hydralazine, that don't sound like Tylenol.
All she had in her system was Tylenol.
Losartan, gabapentin, clonidine, that don't sound like Tylenol, and risperidone, which also don't sound like Tylenol.
All she had in her system was Tylenol.
So, 1, 2,
I didn't hear you come in.
No, I was in the neighborhood.
nightly
I thought I'd
medications,
stop
which
by.
were hydralazine.
It's been a while, right?
The public is supposed to have access to this information. Amanda was last seen at the treatment center on May 8, 2021 at about 11:55 p.m. and administered her nightly medications, which were hydralazine.
I had some cash there.
Again?
Sound like Tylenol.
All she had in
What
her
happened to
system
the
was
money I
Tylenol.
just gave you?
Losartan, gabapentin, clonidine, that don't sound like Tylenol, and risperidone, which also don't sound like Tylenol.
No, I swear it's not that.
No, don't lie to me, Leo.
What difference does it make? I just need some cash, that's all.
Sorry. The answer's no.
What? Why?
You know why.
Yeah, I think I do know why. You'd rather take care of your plastic toy here than your own son, right? Tell me, Dad, what's it got that I don't? Smarter? More obedient? Not like me, right? You know what? This thing is not your son. It's a fucking machine!
Leo, that's enough.
It's a metformin.
Enough.
Take it multiple times a day. The reason I take it multiple times a day is because it doesn't stay in your bloodstream.
Except yourself and your goddamn painting.
It lasts maybe 10 to 12 hours.
You've never loved
So
anyone.
what she's saying
You never
is that
loved
she
me,
took
Dad.
her nightly medications before she went to sleep, and then she unfortunately passed away during the day. It's interesting what's possible is two things. One, they just ran out of her fucking system. And number two, the only thing that wasn't a prescribed medical thing was the Tylenol. So, who cares? What do you mean? Like that's how medications work. They take time to go through your system, and then they leave your system. Or maybe they didn't see it as a discrepancy. The only thing that was outside of her routine would have been the Tylenol. This isn't something that's like this deep. Oh, we got it. Holy fuck, we got it. Oh, we figured it out. It doesn't. You didn't figure anything out. You just learned that drugs go through people's systems. Or that the way that they report on these things, or the way that she reported on it initially, was probably this. They didn't finish the autopsy, so it's most likely that happened is they're like, yeah, the only thing that she had taken outside of her routine was a Tylenol. And she didn't go into the explicit talking about all the medications she was taking. Because you want to know what? I feel like, I forget the specific word, but it might be a violation of somebody's individual human rights to release all the diagnosed medications they're on. not muted, shut up. So, I forget what that's called, but you're not allowed to release somebody's medical history without their consent. Die, right? Sorry, excuse me for being so blunt, but she passed away. And so, like, maybe they just weren't allowed to say it. There's so many, like, very easily clear options as to why this has happened and how this doesn't show any information. She's looking for a problem.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional medications in Amanda's system other than Tylenol. Hello, y'all hearing this?
HIPAA violation. It could have been a HIPAA violation. And now, guess what? She's with the dad, right?
Lieutenant Anderson, my name is Connor. I'm the android sent by Cybertron. I looked for you at the station, but nobody knew where you were. They said you were probably having a drink nearby. I was lucky to find you at the 5th bar.
Oh, so you're saying that you have a problem, you have a medication
You were assigned a case early this evening. A homicide involving a cyberlife android. In accordance with procedure, the company has allocated a specialized model to assist investigators.
Well, I don't need any assistance. Especially not from a plastic asshole like you. Just be a good little robot. Get the fuck out.
Okay, so it gets out of your system. I don't remember. I said 2 things, and you said yes.
Listen,
so
I think you should stop drinking and come with me. It'll make life easier for both of us.
Team medication. Is that what it is?
Now, I do want to point out, one of the things Lima, Albert, they all perpetuate.
I understand that some people are not comfortable in the presence of androids, but
I am perfectly comfortable. Back off the pressure like an empty beer can.
So they don't really test for it because it's already taken into account. That makes sense.
You know what? I'll buy you one for the road. What do you say?
Okay. So anyway,
bartender, the same again.
The reason Amanda died was because all this time she spent on the
that Jim wanted the technology. Make it a double.
On the streets. That's most likely. It probably put significant stress on her body. She probably got some kind of an issue while she was on the streets that caused her to have this. I think it was an epileptic seizure arrest. He was probably gotten through some form of trauma. I think it was a form of PTSD. Yes, that's what most likely happened.
The time that Amanda spent on the street is the reason that she passed away. But Amanda was just homeless too long. But just so people shouldn't be allowed to be homeless, and
I agree. We should figure something out.
You know, in Amanda's case, the fact that she was using substances and she was abused, and then none of that there was before, like arresting it. Her first interview.
You wait here.
No, I didn't have a lot on her.
Whatever you say.
I don't think that that's true. In fact, in that interview, I think that she said she was living with her father again. Well, I watched it. Pretty sure. Okay, either way, who cares? The longer you're on the street, it doesn't even matter.
Josh Douglas for Channel 16. Can you confirm that this is a homicide?
Dead are dying.
I'm not confirming anything.
What are you talking about?
Been back for years. Yeah. A couple of years.
Okay.
They've been back for years. Yeah. A couple of years.
Oh, shit. Who cares? Who cares?
Amanda was a title as an adult to make her own life decisions. Based on all the time she got beat on the street, the beatings that she took, some RAPD and all that.
The amount of traumatic brain injury that she endured.
That was so traumatic to her.
Yes.
It was so traumatic to her that that's what caused her death.
Probably put a significant amount of stress on her body. Yes. This is, you're saying it as if it's like an accusatory tone, as if it's not correct.
Time that Amanda spent on the street is the reason that she passed away. So that amount of time, the amount of traumatic brain injury that she endured, we were working on repairing her jaw because she was brutally beaten and raped so severely on multiple occasions, and 3 that Larry shared with me. There was many more that we don't even know about.
Just stop trying to make it seem like this guy brings it. I don't know what she was referring to.
I'm wondering if anything will happen if I just stay in the car.
Now maybe he molested adult, maybe he molested children, maybe he, when she says molested, it was like he grabbed a girl's ass, did an inappropriate thing, but not quite like sexual assault or violent rape. Maybe he didn't do any of it because she's desperately on drugs. I don't really know, but you keep bringing it up. But like the reality of the situation is you're downplaying a woman getting raped to the point where she died like a horrible form of injury. you're like, oh, God, you have to stop. Like, this guy doesn't have to be a good person. Like, he probably, I don't know, he might, again, with the beginning where she said that he might have been spitting him, there seems to be some kind of an issue there. But I mean, like, yeah, he's not great. He probably still loves his daughter, even if he's a scumbag. I don't really know what to say. The relationship's going to be very complicated. But you're promoting a conspiracy theory, and so far you haven't had a single instance of being correct about anything.
No, page 2 says it. First bullet point.
Okay.
No obvious trauma.
The time that Amanda...
Oh, you're... When they say no obvious trauma, they mean that there was no current obvious trauma on her body. They don't mean that she didn't have traumas from the past. What are you talking about? You can recover from body trauma, and it wouldn't be obvious on your body after you recover. What they're saying is that she didn't get hit so hard she died. Do you understand? Oh.
2 says it. First bullet point. No obvious trauma.
The time that Amanda spent on the street is the reason that she passed away. So the amount of time...
Where's the trauma that killed her, according to Levi and Albert?
The amount of traumatic brain injury that she endured.
Let's get to the cause of death.
You're so stupid.
You know what she said? Nobody made her say it. Nobody asked her to say it. She voluntarily said it. I'm just going to read word for word from what we got.
And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got.
Remember, y'all, the name of this video is Amanda's autopsy results. And she says, and I'm quoting, the cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
That's not true. The cause of death was marked as cardiac arrhythmia.
I just don't care. I just feel like you're just lying. You've gotten so many things wrong so far. I just don't care about what you're saying.
Now, there's some contributing factors. Hypertension, I think that's like cardiac arrhythmia.
Can you show us the whole thing? Can you show us the whole thing? Because right now you have this like really...
That's not true. The cause of death?
I guess we have to exit.
This is just not going to show us the whole thing. So it says multiple factors. It says that Amanda Rouse died of cardiac arrhythmia, hypertension, obesity, and schizophrenia. Something contributing factors. So there was a bunch of different contributing factors.
Your order contradicted my instructions, Lieutenant.
Okay.
You don't talk, you don't touch anything, and you stay out of my way. Got it?
Got it.
Evening, Hank. We were starting to
The
think you
cause
weren't
of
going to
death
show.
was marked
That
as
was
a
the
seizure
plan
disorder.
until those assholes found me.
So, you got yourself an android, huh?
Oh, very funny. Just tell me what happened.
We had a call around 8 with the landlord. The tenant hadn't paid his rent for a few months, so he thought he'd drop by, see what's going on. That's when he found the body. Smell.
So,
It was even worse before we opened the window.
Here's the thing.
Carlos Ortiz.
There's a link between schizophrenia and seizures. I don't know if we call it a seizure disorder.
Okay. The cause of death was marked as cardiac.
Hardly ever saw.
Cardiac arrhythmia, hypertension, obesity, and schizophrenia are contributing factors.
Could have waited till morning.
Oh, okay, so
I'd say Zena would be weak.
Sure. Well, I don't know why she said that then, but based on everything
There's
else,
a
I don't
kitchen
think
knife over here. Probably
Now,
the
there's some
murder weapon.
contributing factors. Hypertension, I think that's like high blood pressure. Obesity, she wasn't obese before she was on down of hitting and the rest. That's
Break
all
in.
Yeah, because
Nope. The landlord said the front door was locked from the inside. All the windows were boarded up. The killer must have gone out the back way.
What do we know about his hand?
Not much. The neighbors confirmed he had one, but it wasn't here when we...
It does not say get R-A-P-E-D. It does not say that.
You're right.
It says cardiac arrhythmia.
I gotta get some air. Make yourself at home. I'll be outside in a minute.
So you guys know this is the person that you're eating up when it comes to conspiracy.
Of course, when I see Leva say cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
I'm just wondering, why does not one say. And in fact, I've lived through every page, y'all know it. Some of it's redacted, but not one single place in this whole report does it say epilepsy. Does it say seizure disorder? It doesn't even say she had one seizure. Why? Why?
Maybe she just thought it'd be something.
It's Lima in a video called autopsy results, holding papers in her hand, confirming she has the autopsy results 7 months after Amanda died, 3 months after this was available, saying that Amanda's cause of death was a sick.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
She has the autopsy results 7 months after Amanda died, 3
Chris,
months
is this written in the victim's blood?
available.
I would say so. We're taking samples for analysis.
Red ice. Seems our friend Carlos liked the party.
Saying that Amanda's cause of death is a seizure disorder. That's not true. Why was Lima saying that? Why, when I started calling those statements lies, saying that Amanda's cause of death is a seizure.
Amanda says it's an opinion. Maybe they have two different autopsies.
Disorder. That's not true. Why was Lima saying that? Why, when I started calling those statements lies, did she sue me instead of just correcting the record?
It's not why she's here for name,
Guys, oops, sorry. I was reading from some notes. I was misunderstood. Oops. Let me correct the record publicly. No. She sued me, and before suing me, demanded that I retract the statement that was a lie.
I'm sure it was more than just that.
You tell me. Comment below. If that's not a lie, what?
I mean, just the fact that she's constantly trying to get into content, she just really called into question the type of content. This is a person that's using someone's death as content rather than actually caring about somebody.
Should I have retracted that? Lima Ibrahimovic, the guardian, the person who took legal responsibility for Amanda's treatment and care, the person who collected thousands of dollars in GoFundMe donations for 28 times.
Seems like the killer really had it in for him.
They did that. They did updates.
Isn't it irresponsible of her not to get it back word for word? Isn't it irresponsible?
Chris, I want full analysis on the narcotics.
Consider it done, Lieutenant.
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
They got me living in the upside
Hey,
down.
Mike, you finished taking samples there?
Yeah, that's it.
Lima has come out on Instagram and made a post with literally a nasty patty. They referred to my investigation into these incidents as online trauma. And I think that it is very interesting to refer to a legitimate investigation.
That's not a legitimate investigation, idiot.
Being done on a public level and so
the only point that you had this entire time was that she didn't say the correct cause of death, maybe, based on that particular opinion. I don't really know. But everything else you said was absolute nonsense. So I don't really care. It's once there's so many slight inconsistencies that are explained by human error. She got a different opinion from a different
Door was locked from the inside.
She misspoke. She thought
Must have gone out this way.
was a fucking seizure disorder.
There are no footprints apart from Officer Collins' size 10 shoes.
About 7 weeks ago.
But nothing has
Tracks could have faded.
questionable in a way where I would question it.
This type of soil would retain a trace.
You just don't understand.
Nobody's been out here for a long
You don't even know what a dog whistle is. You think that prostitution and getting raped are dog whistles. You don't understand what we're saying. You're dangerous.
Publicly available documents find inconsistencies in statements of people who are trying to get thousands of dollars from a public. That's drama. It's not drama. It is a very, very serious matter.
Yes, and you're making it drama.
Not only with the Amanda rap story, but with the literal ban and continues to go on.
No, nothing is wrong with Bam. You're an idiot. Stop pressuring this fucking conspiracy theory that Bam Margera is being abused. He's a fucking drug addict. Well documented online that he's fucking does drugs, he's been relationship with drugs, and then he fucking, his friend died, he spiraled him out of control. Shut the fuck up, you're an idiot. If you want to use, you're fucking dumb. You're so stupid. I fucking hate all of you on YouTube. This is what's wrong with YouTube. You guys are a bunch of fucking losers on the internet who think that you know anything about shit. You don't know fucking anything. Pretend to know anything, you don't know anything. My fucking father died. The drugs, you still don't have any understanding of how drug addiction works. It's insane to me. I don't understand it. It's just the truth. You don't get it. You're not understanding anything. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, dude, the guy's struggling. Sorry for mocking him. He's struggling. He's better now, apparently. He's struggling. His friends, this conspiracy theory goes along with his friends and family wanting to use him and abuse him. You said at the beginning of the video that, all Bam had is a mental like bipolar, and he was on one drug, and you're gonna call that an addiction, bro? You can watch this motherfucker on horrible drugs and shit. Like, you see his fucking de-evolution as a person throughout this. And what's so crazy is that you lack so much critical thought that you are enabling Bam Margera to not be a good father for his kid. Like, I'm just saying. And I think that Bam is probably going to make a great father, but you don't make a good parent when you're on drugs and when you're fucking addicted to alcohol. Okay? And you're having you just don't care. It's drama, 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 drama. You're a fucking lunatic. You're a fucking lunatic.
He wasn't allowed to use his phone. He said he wanted to call.
Okay.
The podcast just aired yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday with Steve-O and Bam. And Bam confirmed a lot of this stuff.
Bam, okay.
Novak said, dude, if you just do it here, you'll understand how much better you will feel. Because you always do 30 to 60 days, maybe 90 times. But if you just do it here, you'll understand. And I call him up after you, Novak, I understand. I get it. I feel great now. I just don't want to return to that anymore.
That doesn't. First of all, if you're going to say that it confirmed everything you were saying, show that. Second of all, that's him being. Person was right. Do this for a year, and he was like, "Yeah, I feel better. I just don't want to go back." Well, of course you don't want to go back because you lost a lot of your freedoms because you were on drugs and you were killing yourself. What are you talking about? I remember that podcast. It was Bam is frustrated and he was spewing bullshit, and people online are pushing this narrative that he's being abused somehow by his best fucking friends, like Steve-O and shit, which want nothing but the best for him. You're insane. Yeah, sometimes.
In rehab, they're kicking people out for 30 days. Okay.
Yes, because they don't get insurance access. How are you going to do the fact that the company is using that? They only keep it for 30 days. Yeah, of course, because that Amanda's saying that they keep us out for 30 days, which implies that the rehab is good for her. She's saying it's good. The problem with it is that I can't be there long enough. And Leva and Mark helped her stay in there for a long period of time, helping her with insurance and helping raise money for donations. So, how are you going to push narrative that she's hurting her, that she's hurting Amanda, when Amanda's saying the problem with it is I don't get to stay as long as I need? This is Jerks Only Covers Your Nose. You're using these videos as if you think that you're doing something, but you're not. You're just fucking owning yourself. Holy fuck.
And I think that is very good. Wow, 30 days, okay. And I think that is very good. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
It's really weird how sort of like preachy Steve-O is in this interview, like condescending and sort of been there, done that. He knows better than you, and it's like he said he doesn't even know what's going on social media.
You're a waste of condescending. He's not. I watched some clips. He's not being condescending at all. He's speaking sternly to a very good friend of his that you apparently have some kind of parasocial relationship with, and he actually has a literal relationship.
Steve-O said, "Hey, man, can you at least say the things that have been said online aren't true?"
Yeah, because people like you, fucking insane people, are pushing conspiracy narratives about how they're trying to manipulate what they're not.
What are you talking about?
I've seen a lot of activity on social media with the hashtag #FreeBam. And people seem to think that you're the Britney Spears of jackass, that evil villains have taken over your life and stolen all your money. And like, should we safely say that none of that is true?
Bam said, "Well, I can't. Not really. I can't tell you what was going on social media because I wasn't allowed to have my phone."
I don't know what's been going on because I haven't been able to look. As a matter of fact, I can't even post on my Instagram. Everything has to go through Johnny Schiller of Power Supply because I signed a contract because when I was dealing with the lawsuit with Paramount and Jackass, I was supposed to look, this motherfucker is essentially ruining my lawsuit. So I signed a paper saying that only Johnny can clear what goes through my Instagram. So I don't even know if anything going. I can't control what goes on it.
Can I tell you, I think that's good news.
I do know there was somebody sharing videos of me, in the back of a police car or whatever. Yeah, it was. But another thing that Bam did say in that video, he was...
Wow, who would have thought that a drug addict would think that the person that has guardianship over them was a bad person?
All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for the ride. Great party.
Wait, Lieutenant. I can't stay if you leave.
This video is, I think I
where we part ways.
I just need 5 minutes to finish my investigation.
Any social dialogue.
Suspicious of her in that video.
Please, remember the drink I bought you at the bar? Just 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Help get himself help.
There were a couple big accounts that had, in the early days of Aura, endorsed her, promoted her, collaborated with her.
This video is a collaboration. Please keep the
I don't know any of the with a content creator called Dissociated.
Hello everybody, welcome back to this video by Dissociated. Hi everyone, welcome to my first video with Chloe from Dissociated.
That Dissociated, the channel, has come out and said on a community post that they do not endorse this type of behavior.
As you know, earlier this year, we re-uploaded all of our content that had been wrongfully removed by false copyright strikes. All our videos were re-uploaded en masse with our attention purely on getting as many of our videos back as possible. One of those re-uploads was an interview from Aura from 2019. In 2019, Lima, CEO of Aura, contacted us and explained she was trying to create a new way to help doctors develop mental health treatment. She asked us if we wanted to do an interview, and we said yes. We met for a few hours over a 2-day period and traveled home again and didn't really keep in contact. Yesterday, we were informed of some concerning news about how Aura has developed over the years since the interview. We were extremely saddened by Amanda's passing after just beginning to overcome a lifetime of abuse. This entire situation was frightening to hear about. She didn't deserve any of this. We've removed this particular upload. Stay safe, whatever. So, Dissociative DID, just to be clear, has nothing to do with her mental health struggle, is a fucking loser. And I want to explain this to you, because you guys created such a horrible conspiracy narrative that has no factual foundation. And I'm tired of content creators taking the safe play of saying, well, people don't like a thing, so I'll say it's bad too, so they can brush their hands of it, when the reality is there's no actual information that suggests that this Lima person is a bad person. I'm so sick of content creators who play this fucking dog shit disingenuous game of apologizing for doing nothing wrong, because all it does is it causes feral animals like this content creator here to jump on shit and say outrageous shit, get the fucking hive mind to believe what they're saying, and then weaponize that to make these fucking content creators with no fucking balls just completely decide to be like, oh, so sorry guys, I don't really know what's happening. I heard a thing and now I believe it because this is how the internet works and I'm afraid to be canceled. No, are you kidding me? This is insane. These people are fucking insane. I hate content creators who do these fucking performative, apology-esque type things. Such loser shit, dude. I'm so tired of it. Because this feeds into these fucking people. This enables them to keep going. If she said, I'm going to leave it up because I don't have any conclusive evidence that there was a problem, boom, we're good. That's it. That's all you have to say. But instead of like, oh, this is very concerning. What's concerning? What? What is concerning? There hasn't been a single factual thing in these two-part videos. It's crazy.
They did not know that that's what they were endorsing whenever, they did the collab. I do not endorse or condone anyone attacking. I say it at the beginning as a disclaimer in every video, and I really mean it. We have the truth on our side.
No, you don't.
I'm begging you not to send any hateful emails.
No, you don't.
Don't even send any emails.
No, you don't.
Don't send any type of text to Lena.
I think I figured out what happened.
Nothing that you're saying is factual. You're an idiot.
Related to
Dude,
her, that's
I'm all
not
ears.
It all started
and I'm begging you not to do that. Leave the girl
in the
alone.
kitchen.
There's some truth you can get, and we're going to get to it. I'm not saying that Lena was definitely
There are obvious signs of the struggle. Question is, what exactly happened here?
Justice.
I think the victim attacked the android.
Nobody should be entitled to take over the rights, privileges of another human being. And
With
damn
the
sure,
bat.
medical choices. It sounds
Lines up with the evidence. Go on.
You're an idiot. I don't know what else to say. I just don't know what else to say. Let me ask you a question. Bro, I just don't know what to say. Listen, we very clearly have no attachment to anything.
The android stabbed the
There are
victim.
people that have such
So
significant
the android was trying to defend itself, right?
This is why we create housing facilities
Okay, then what
for
happened?
intellectual and developmental
The victim fled
disabilities that can't take care of themselves by themselves. They lose a part of their autonomy.
living
They still can make reasonable decisions, but some of them are deemed non-consenting sexually because they don't understand sex. Because they're the type of people who, when they get questioned, they're just like, hey, if Johnny buys you a cheeseburger, do you have to have sex with him? Like, yeah, I think I do. Because they just fundamentally don't understand the relationship with sex.
Tried to get away from the android.
He does all the time.
Alright, that makes sense.
Mental health issues.
The android murdered the
Obviously,
victim
you obviously have to make sure that doesn't become predatory. But like people lose their
with the
autonomy
knife.
and capacity all the time because they can't take care of themselves.
Okay.
And she was
Your theory's not totally ridiculous, but it doesn't tell us where the android went.
Getting violently raped and beaten.
It was damaged by the bat
and heroin
and lost some fury.
Lost some
And you
what?
think that maybe
Fury.
her left
You call it
devices
blue.
to kill.
It's the fluid that powers androids'
It
biocomponents.
is. And so
It
that she got
evaporates after a few
conservation.
hours and becomes invisible
It's
so they
that
die.
simple.
Oh, but I bet
It's a
you can
virtue
still see
signal.
it, can't you?
Your virtue signal.
Correct.
And the outcome of what you're saying means people that are drug addicts getting raped on the streets aren't going to get access to the help that they need. If she had full autonomy over herself, she would have been dead sooner. It's so sad. She would have been dead. Look at this here. This is another interview with Amanda here. She got the fuck beat out of her. Where do you think that happened? On the streets. I don't know what to say.
It shouldn't. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is because I have lots of experience losing people close to me. I could have did what these people do and rushed over and forced them into rehab and did all these interventions and taken over their life and made them miserable and did.
Probably couldn't have because it's not as simple as they're just a drug addict. It's very clear there's a lot more. But you know what? Maybe you should have.
All that, and then they're calling me the worst guardian ever. That's not my place. It doesn't matter what your religion is, if you have one or not, spiritual, whatever. Everyone would agree we come to deserve free will to make the decisions that are right for us.
If I had a person in my family that I loved a lot that was a drug addict, I absolutely would advocate for it. It's over shit. What do you tell them? I don't care. Like this fucking virtue religion does anything. You would tell you. And it's killing themselves in the street. Yes, I would be like, yeah, this person has a significant mental health issue, mental drug addiction, to get this person from a trained professional, which seems to be lean in some capacity. She's more trained than I am to help her out, which it seems to work. She got her into a fucking drug facility and she was almost out. She just had like a horrible, tragic event that happened. Yeah, because the drug addict getting raped constantly because they're making bad decisions. They have the apparently the autonomy to make better decisions. They clearly don't, bro. Live in a fantasy, live in a reality.
When somebody asks, what do y'all ask? What's the first question you ask? Let's think about for a second.
Why are they dying?
How did they die? Then when that person's in their 20s and you don't know of any pre-existing health conditions, what's the next question? Was it drug related? Did they pass it off? The most important questions, the two primary questions when somebody dies. Lima did not tell the truth. That's what I told her.
Hey, what are you doing with that chair?
I'm going to check something.
That's not what happened. It's because your first video was an insane exercise in why you should have a conservatorship against you.
I deny all allegations, and I expect to be vindicated by a jury of my peers. A lot of people agree with me that the shit is shady. You shouldn't allow it. Y'all know how to do nothing to answers. I know.
Defamation's like impossible to prove, so she would probably win either way.
It's very difficult for me to do so. But if someone spend, like I said, every waking hour fighting this case, which I'm prepared to do, I'm trained to do, I'm able to do, then
Training one, you're not trying to do anything.
it's not something that I really feel like I can do in a sustainable way. I'm really going to need help. So if you agree that something's going on here that's a little outside of the ordinary, and you would like to assist me in protecting freedom of the press, journalism, and my
You're not a journalist, you're a fucking idiot.
personal right to free speech, fighting this defamation lawsuit, I would really genuinely appreciate it. The legal fund is linked below. Facts and defamation.
Not spilling facts.
Yeah, so I started oral my sisters who are
A desperate search is underway for a woman who went missing in West Hollywood. A desperate search is underway.
Either that or she's just trying to really jerk off like a fucking thing here. I don't know if I happen to be to listen to another abysmal dog shit video from this woman. Is this supposed to be part 3? Or is she just milking the fuck out of this video? Holy shit. What is
Hi
this?
guys, I'm Lima, the one you've heard so many wonderful things.
I think I was called it because we have gotten nothing productive out of here. And I'm tired of looking at this drama-esque situation. Maybe I'll watch this video, but frankly,
Connor, what the fuck is going on up there?
just milking the fuck out of this for content. This is good. Let's see, we have...
It's here, Lieutenant!
2, emergency update, came in around
Chris,
3,
get your asses in here now!
4, 5, because these twins are part of that story. 5. This is 6, right? And then we have 7. Incredible stuff. Grow up, bro. What's wrong with you? What other things do you usually do? Stick to doing deep dives on Tequila Tequila. Because that's better for you, because you really don't know what the fuck. This is good. Talk about Tila Tequila. Talk about Drake and Josh. Talk about how to wipe your ass correctly. But really, when it comes to mental health struggles, you don't know anything about anything, and you really should just stop making content that is serious at all. Yeah, you should just take a break from anything serious. And keep fucking around with dumb shit.
Yeah, I'm coming.
There you go, guys. That's it for today. I'm gonna bang out. I'll wait for the video. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a good one. Peace out, guys. I want Papa got to pee. Let's get into the video. Pee on my face, baby. Light the mood. Oh, I forgot this donation. Thank you. Got a couple donations.
There wasn't much in the kitchen. I did what I could.
Thank you. Good. Acknowledge this couple of this donation. Thank you, Maddie. I'll take time. I hate Papa God. Said Mr. East. Incredible. Thank you, Mr. Bias. I love you guys. Take care. Oh, there's another one. Oh, brother, we're out of here. I'm sorry, my friend. I love you guys.
Turn on the lights! Can't see shit. Life's funny. I lost my job because of androids. And I need somebody to take care of this goddamn house. What do? Go out and hire a fucking android. Joke. Of course, androids are so fucking wonderful. They never fail. They never tire. Stop moving around! For Christ's sake, you're making me nervous! What are you looking at? What's your fucking problem? Not the life you dreamed of, eh? Maybe you think this is easy. Maybe you think it's my fault we live in this fucking shithole. My fault your fucking mother took off. You should stop taking drugs, Todd. Sometimes you really scare me, Todd. Fucking bitch took off without a word. Fucking whore walked out on me for a fucking account. It's all your fault.
Daddy, no.
It's all your fucking fault. Get back here. Come back here. Come back here right now! You stay there. Don't you dare fucking move, or I'll bust you worse than last time. Took off, not a word. I could have been happy. I could have had a family. But no! Shit about how I felt. Did everything I could to make.
He's coming. He's gonna hurt me. Run! Get away, or he's gonna break you like last time.
You're coming with me.
Daddy's very mad, Alice. Very mad. It's on. What the fuck are you doing here? I gave you an order.
No. I won't let you hurt her.
You won't let me. She's mine. I do what I want with her! Ugh! Come on! Come here, you little brat! Good, Alice. For your own good.
That's enough! Leave her alone.
What the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. That's an order. You hear me?
No! I want you to leave Alice alone.
Want? What do you mean you want? You don't want anything. You're just a goddamn piece of plastic. I think you got a problem. We need to fix that.
Watch out, Kara!
Come here, bitch.
Stop that! Don't hurt her! Leave her alone!
You do as I say.
Quick, he's coming!
You have to obey me. You're mine.
That was by far the most boring party I've been to in the last 25 years. Every time I go to one of these, I ask myself, what the hell am I doing here? I hate cocktail parties. All the schmoozers that go there.
Well, it's a chance for all those people who admire your work to meet you.
Yeah. No one gives a damn about art. All they care about is how much money they're gonna make out of it. Come on, let's have a drink. Or the excitement. This whole thing has made me thirsty.
Scotch, neat as usual?
Absolutely.
Okay, but you know what your doctor would say.
Yeah, well, he can kiss my ass. I'm old enough to choose my own medication. Did you leave the light on in the studio?
No, I'm sure I didn't.
Call the police.
This is Carl Manfred's Android, 8941 Lafayette Avenue. We've just returned home and found the lights on. There may have been a break-in.
Let's go check it out. Marcus, no, I'm gonna come with you.
Leo! What are you doing? You refuse to help me, so I'm helping myself. It's crazy what some people pay for this shit.
Don't touch them.
Look, they're all gonna be mine sooner or later anyway. Just think of it as a down payment on my inheritance.
Marcus, get him away from here. Get him out of here.
Be reasonable. This isn't gonna get you anywhere.
All you ever do is tell me to go away. What's wrong, Dad? Not good enough for you? Not perfect, like this fucking thing?
That's enough! Get out! Right now!
What makes it so special anyway, huh? What's it got that I don't?
Leave him alone!
Come on, let's see what you got!
Marcus, don't defend yourself, you hear me? Don't do anything.
Go ahead, hit me. What you waiting for? Think you're a man? Act like one. Stop it! Doesn't matter too much of a pussy.
Stop it, Leo! Stop it!
You're scared to fight back, you fucking bitch! I forgot you're not a real person. You're just a fucking piece of plastic.
Oh, Leo, leave him alone.
I'm gonna destroy you. Then I'll just be me and my dad. I'm gonna tear you.
Leo. Oh my God. Leo. My little boy.
Carl,
They'll destroy you, Marcus. You gotta go. Get out of here.
Carl, I didn't mean to.
Get out! Now! Go! Marcus!
Don't fucking move!
Why'd you kill him? What happened before you took that knife?
Oh, right.
How long were you in the attic?
Got people already chapped, got Chris Manson.
Why didn't you even try to run away?
Y'all over here got your wavy emojis, got other emojis. I hope everyone is doing
something,
well
goddammit.
on this. Was it Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Yes. Thursday, well, it's afternoon for me, maybe evening for you, maybe morning. Go ahead and continue
We're wasting our time interrogating the machine. We're getting nothing out of it.
Instead of doing like side quests, go ahead and
Always try ruffling up a little.
I don't want this
After
play
all,
to be that long.
it's not human.
Androids don't feel pain. You would only dense, and that wouldn't make it talk. Deviants also have a tendency to self-destruct when they're in stressful situations.
Okay, smartass. What should we do then?
I can try questioning.
We have to lose. Go ahead. Suspect's all yours.
I'm doing really well, Percival. I got a couple of things to do after, I got a meeting and some stuff after this. But I'm doing very well. I'm usually doing pretty well. Did I ever share what I did for a living? So at 77, right now I do work for myself. For the past, good Lord, since 2008, I worked in IT. I've done a bunch of things in IT, worked in various different industries, and so, but yes, but now I do have a business, I have my own business. I built a website using WordPress that sells clothing and accessories for meat eaters and carnivores. I call it, Let's All Meat, and so I got to deliver all these 4 containers. But I do continue to do IT work on the side. It depends. I've got kind of picky. Oh, you're a network engineer. Oh, that's cool then. Yes. Okay. So I got a blood bag. If you're carrying multiple blood bags, a new bag will automatically be switched as soon as the current was emptied. If you're using a blood-draining weapon, blood will be drained from blood bags before it's drained from Sam's body. Okay.
Sam, this is our first step in developing an anti-BT.
But yeah, I worked with a lot of network engineers when I was working in data centers.
At least, that's how they're meant to function. They've never actually been tested in the field. Who knows? Find the first person to kill a BT. And wouldn't that be something? But, even if they do work, don't forget that they're fueled by your blood.
You're damaged.
It's too much, and you get yourself a...
Your owner did that?
I got the anemia. Okay, so what do we have? 2 of these?
I detect an instability.
Okay, 3 total. Okay.
It can trigger an unpleasant feeling. Like
you're a 35-year-old black nerd. You're one of your favorite. Oh, well, thank you, the 77. As a 40-year-old black nerd too.
If you don't cooperate, they'll do things the hard way.
That'll give me 3.
Is that what you want?
I'll do that. And then I'll do 1 of these. So 3 of each.
I'm on your side. I want to help you. But there's nothing I can do if you won't talk to me.
Oh, you thought you were crazy. Nah, don't say you're crazy. You're not crazy. Load all,
I'm going to have to.
Good Lord. Let's auto-arrange this. Okay. I always do load all, and then that's like, okay, auto-arrange it because, heck, I don't know. I put things in perspective. I think, in today's world, you gotta have a good perspective. You have to, as the British say, you can't let other people get you down.
Why did you tell me that?
Okay, we'll do that later. Today we're doing, oh yeah. Heck, I might even put some of this stuff on and get off a bike.
Then talk.
What the? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted.
menus. I wanted to open up the cargo menu.
I understand how you felt. You were overcome by anger, frustration.
Well, it's a bike.
No one can blame you for what happened.
Well, it's a bike.
I know you're scared.
Do like that.
Lost. You're disturbed by what happened. Talk to me, and you'll feel better.
Okay, well, look, we'll do that.
Confess, and I'll protect you. I promise I won't let
I
anyone
know,
hurt
dude.
you.
Okay, it's on the bike. Save real quick. Let's cut this game. You send me emails. What is this?
Bridge link is another way of describing the connection between you.
You leave me no choice.
You want to forge a reality. Consider straight.
I didn't know I clicked on that. Nope, did the wrong thing. Yeah, I hit British links. That's what I'm going to be able to say. Just in case. Okay. Oh, now it says.
I access its memory. I know what happened.
But yeah, I enjoy. I got into IT way back in the day because I have a BA in English. I love writing, and so I was like, I'm gonna be a published author. Yeah, that didn't really happen. And so,
What the fuck? It's destroying itself.
it was like, well, now, because where are we going? Yes, that heal post. We're not doing that.
Stop it!
That's not what. Another new.
Oh, shit.
That's the wind farm. Oh, we got a good way to go. Yeah, we got a long way to go. Woo! Good lord. You still gotta go through BT territory. Okay. But yeah. So back in back in 2007, 2008. I'll tell you after this thing stops talking. So in late 2007, I was like, okay, I need to go get another job because I had stopped working to, write full time.
And the light.
And that just, unfortunately did not work out. And so I was like, I didn't want to do, the regular jobs I was doing before. I just did anything, So I started looking. I was like, what am I good at? What do I like doing? I said, I need to get a career. And so that's what I started doing. Oh, I'm way off. I really should plot my route instead of just doing like this. But so I started looking at, I had at that time been doing a lot of IT assistance personally for different people. And I was like, you know what? I like working. I would repair people's computers and things like that. And so I was like, I like doing this. That's the wrong button, Brittany. I probably should have took that route. Yeah, because that goes up the mountain. The wind farm, we're not going over there. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I should go and look into working in IT.
We'll find somewhere to spend the night.
And that's what I did. I started looking at jobs and seeing, you know, what did I need to do? Oh, crap. Now it's raining.
Come on, you gotta
And, you know, a lot of these shops were asking for real, there's BTs over here. I was hoping that there wasn't, but okay, we're just gonna run through it. I know.
I'm okay. I'm not so cold.
You're okay, baby.
There's nowhere to go.
I know someone who can help you.
That's on the other side of town.
Ah,
We
crap.
need a place for tonight.
I get stuck. Okay, no. Woohoo! Didn't get stuck. So yeah, I got my CompTIA A+ certification in in early 2008, and that was the forever one. That's when they had the forever certifications, but they changed that now. Oh, they changed it a long time ago. And that was good. And then I got my CompTIA network one later on. Charge up. And with that, I was able to get my first IT job and things like that. Okay. Let's see what this
looks abandoned.
Oh, you just got your CCMP? That's a really good one. Okay, I'm over here.
Stand back, Alice.
Okay, we'll go across here. Okay. Actually, I should have saved. From there, I got my, I can't save. That's fine. Got my CompTIA Network Plus. Did some other stuff for a while. Oh, that could build that bridge. Oh, make sure this part is not too deep. Not too deep.
You can find a better place.
Go on, get up over.
We're better off staying, Alice.
Do we need to go that
The
way?
important thing is for us to be safe. And it's just for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Oh. No, it doesn't look really that deep. I think it's good to be picky, though, especially in the IT world. You don't want to just keep getting, like, all these different certifications. You want to focus. Like, I started focusing later on in my career after I worked for a very long time. I started working with more and more Linux. And so now I have a CompTIA Linux certification. I have my LPIC, which is the Linux Professional Institute. So I enjoy working with Linux. I haven't complained as well with Windows PC.
Maybe I wasn't good enough.
But
That's why he was always so angry.
is it correct to call network engineering, hardware, software publishing, and software development all IT? It is all IT. It's all internet. It's all information technology.
Why can't you just be happy?
That went the wrong way.
We'll never leave me, right? Promise we'll never go.
Yeah, it's all IT. Young Joe. Whoops, they ran into that.
Forever.
basically every IT person, calls it that. Or every non-IT person. Now, when you get in, some engineers, like civil engineering, mechanical engineers, do not see software engineers as actual engineers. But, I mean, when you look at software engineering, because there's differences, there's programming, there's coding, there's all that stuff. So programming and coding, or developers, they're not considered software engineers because they are just, they're not creating like the systems and everything. Also, why people say they work at IT, I'm not quite sure which one they mean. Yeah, you have to ask people what they mean when they work at IT. What's that? BT's for real. We're gonna run again. Oh, there are BTs in this part, I remember. Yeah. Go, bike, go! Ah, crap. Got stuck. Oh, I got stuck good. Dude, I got my mic stuck really good. Okay. And it would take me all the way back here. Dude, screw this. Start reloading. I know. And it's okay, Young Jump, to ask a person what do they exactly do in IT. That's not a bad question. Oh, for real, dude? You gonna put me all the way back here? And oh, wait a minute, dang it. What do I think of ChatGPT? I think it's a really interesting, it's a very interesting use of AI. Right now, it is the best AI system we have because it's the most human-like. I know there's a lot of individuals who are scared that it is going to take people's jobs, like office jobs, things like that. However, I don't think that. I don't think that GPT is going to take over as many jobs as people think it will. Because there is a human element that AI doesn't have just yet. Now, ChatGPT works very well because it got a lot of human training. Unlike other AI programs. Where are you going? Oh, I gotta dismount. That's kind of sucky. And so, yeah, yes, there's a lot of tasks that AI could help with, but it is still I mean, humans are still going to have a job. I'll just say it like that. We are not at the point in our technology where we're going to have full automation. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point, to be perfectly honest. I'm not trying to say that, you know, us as humans, okay. I'm not trying to say us as humans are not smart enough, but. So Hassan, how was the Game Awards last year? Overall, it was good. I gave it a B. Oops. Give me 1 second. Gotta get away from these BTs. Okay. Overall, they were good. It was kind of boring at some times, but overall, it was decent. There are more or less insight behind periods that farmers would try to integrate some AI. The medical industry has been using. Dang it. The medical industry has been using AI for I want to say close to a decade now. A lot of AI is being used to help review scans, like X-rays, MRIs, all that stuff to help diagnose cancers and other stuff like that without the need of humans. However, it's still not 100% there, and humans still help. Oops. Back up, can't go that way. Humans are still needed, just in case, because it's really there to help with the false positives. Because even humans, when they review scans, they can have a bunch of false positives. Okay, let me go and charge up real quick. Yeah, it's being trained to reduce workload. I agree with that, Young Jump. Is gaming something I got to recently? No, like 23. I've been playing games since I was 4 years old. It's just that it's something I've included more on my channel. But yeah, I've been playing.
I'm an AK-700 Android.
Playing so many systems.
What can I
seen so many things.
Hello. I'm an AK-700 Android.
Yeah, I'm a lifetime gamer. Oh, so AEW Dynamite was great. That's good to hear, Cass.
Hello.
Hello to Antonio Gaming. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, we'll go this way. No, we're not going there. Not going over there. I already have enough cargo. I'm just trying to do a main quest today. I had to start over because I messed up royally. Pick up some long gaming. Like I said, I enjoy gaming. It is getting more expensive. Oh, I'm doing really well today, Tonya. Or Tonya. But yeah, there's one right there. Look at that sucker. grab this real quick. But yeah, I'm doing pretty A-okay today. I'm gonna keep it like strictly an hour and a half. That's what I'm trying to work on a main quest today. In this, because I do have some things I need to work on. I got a meeting, and I want to prepare for that. Okay, this is the part where I got stuff rolling on. You're okay, baby. You said bug BT mechanics. Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you too, Hassan. I hope you had a great one. I didn't do too much. Just stayed home, watched the ball drop. I didn't forget what I was doing, game. Okay? It's just a very long way to it. I'm gonna go ahead and charge. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, let me see where I am on the map. So we need to... Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go back over the bridge and drive over here, but I think after a while I may not be able to use my bike. You have to go eat lunch? Have fun with your lunch. I just got done. Let's drop by though.